how do you use video in your coaching cycle? Like, where does it fit in, and what are the strengths of it that you see?
Right. Well, the first thing I'd say is that once coaches start using video consistently with teachers, in our experience, almost all of them say, I don't know how I did coaching before I used video. And it comes up over and over again. But the first thing is, we don't think coaching can flourish without a clear picture of what's happening in the classroom, that the teacher understands.
Right.
And often what people do is they gather observation data, but the trouble is, for perceptual errors, the way we perceive reality is different than what's really happening. Because of perceptual errors, what the teacher thinks is happening in the classroom, what's really happening are, in our experience, almost really different. And so when you've got video of the classroom and a clear picture of current reality, that makes sure that what you focus on is something that's high leverage, but it also makes sure that there's motivation to do it. If I'm not clear on what's happening in the classroom, I might not see the need to make a big change. But if I watch a video and I go, oh man, I wasted 25% of the time on non-instructional activities, I got to change that. And then what the coach is doing is not trying to talk the teacher into anything. What you're doing is you're just providing support. You're helping them accomplish the goal that they identified themselves through looking at the video.
So it sounds like the major difference between doing it with video and without video is, if you're without video, the coach has to convince and describe what's happening to the teacher, and then the teacher feels like it's through the lens of what the coach saw. Versus with the video, they're making their own judgments, they're analyzing it themselves, and you're kind of cutting out any bias or any maybe roadblock for the teacher.
Exactly. I mean, if I go observe the teacher's classroom, let's say you're teaching, I observe you, and I say, here's what I saw. First off, that observation is probably flawed anyway. Who says I'm right? You know, I'm just one opinion. But if I go do the observation, you might be a little defensive. And in fact, in part because you don't have the same picture of reality as I do.
Right.
But if you do the video and you come up with the observation, then it's all on you, and it's much more powerful for you to come to the awareness than for me to try to talk you. And often it gets into me trying to talk you into what I saw. So like one of the things we'll keep track of is what's called ratio of interaction. How often the teacher directs their attention towards the kids when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and how often they direct their attention towards kids when they're not doing what they're supposed to be. And if the teacher only attends to kids when they're not appropriately acting, pretty quickly kids learn, if I want to get the teacher's attention, I got to act up, because she's not going to see me if I'm not doing it. So we gather data on that ratio of interaction, and we share it with teachers, but if they haven't seen the video, they're going to go, I don't. And it's not that they're being defensive, they literally don't see it. But when we show the video, they can do the coding, or questioning. You know, they can be the ones who analyze the questions, so it's got huge potential.
So in which cases does it make sense to use video, and which cases it does not make sense to use video?
Well, the only reason I wouldn't use video is if the teacher is not comfortable with it. I wouldn't force it on him or her. I mean, if someone says to me, look, I had a bad experience in high school in video, I don't want to watch it, I'm not gonna do it. But that's a small percentage of people. I think sometimes when video isn't happening, I think you need to step back and look at the culture of the school. Because if video isn't happening, there probably isn't vulnerability in the PLCs, coaching isn't flourishing, and because there's a lack of trust in the culture. Which means you should probably use video to look at the way you have conversations, but nonetheless, without that trust, it's going to be hard to move things forward. I mean, everybody's taking selfies. Right. Everybody's out there video recording stuff, putting it on Instagram. I mean, it's a common thing. So if it's not happening in the school, it probably comes back to our issue of trust.